in stepping into the marketplace. And so I really am grateful for this opportunity to be here. And I'm on it. I have a challenge for today. I'm going to do my best to make technology fun and entertaining. That's been one of those things. And so if you're here saying technology scares me, then hopefully you'll be in this place and you walk away and maybe it's not quite as scary as you as we walk away. So I'm going to share my screen real quick and get started. So you should be seeing my screen and you see my little, my Sage, my beautiful friend in the picture on the right, where she's going to take you from the top where you're in the midst of maybe chaos to a nice ordered desk at the bottom. And so it really is about identifying what is it that's keeping you stuck with technology
So
and
we
how
are
do
seeing
you,
it in your view, Erlene. So we're
uh,
seeing the next slide, and you
well,
want to put it in presentation view, I think.
yeah, it's in presentation mode. Obviously, I shared the wrong version of it. So we'll try that again. Ah, no, that's, oh, there it is. I gotta love it when I practice and did it all right, and then I come here and do it all wrong. So
No worries.
for
Thank you so much.
anyone, just so you know, technology can be struggle for everybody, even if you're fluent in geek. And so I've just proven that. And so we'll just continue on. Um, But, again, going back to my quote of beginning with the end in mind. And so I am excited to be here. And in this picture, that this slide, it's taking you back to the reason I even do what I do. I was a solutions architect for a large mainframe computer system or company, and I got a phone call just after I checked into the hotel in Oklahoma City on a trip I wasn't supposed to make. And it was my daughter who's in this picture right here. And she was saying, "Hey, Ma, I think I'm in labor." Well, this beautiful young lady was born while I was in Oklahoma City. I missed out on the birth of my first grandchild. And at that point, I made a decision that it was time to step out in faith and not allow other things to dictate how I would live my life and where I would show up. And so as a result, my why shows up in this picture. This one is a trip that we made for my birthday last year. You see my now almost 87-year-old mom here, my son-in-law, and my three local grandchildren, as well as my daughter. And then the picture over on the right here is my son and his amazing four children. His wife was taking the pictures, so you don't get to see her. Um, I've been taking up fishing and doing things that are fun as opposed to just being so focused on business and life. And then unexpectedly, when my grandson and granddaughter spent the night with me one night, he happened to have pajamas that were exactly the same as mine. So we ended up twinning that night. Harper here has her satin on, just not quite the twinning version. But those are really at the core of my why and not wanting to miss out on those things, which is why I am so passionate about serving women to be able to step into who God created them to be, whatever that looks like, and allowing them to get out of the mix of the chaos of technology. So technology, it should be a servant, not a master. So ultimately, we're going to talk a little bit about impact and multiplying your reach, your message, amplifying your message, and then time stewardship, which is just mastering that. I'm going to cover 5 different areas, and we're not going to talk a lot about very specific tools. It really is these categories. And again, everyone's business is different, And every time, at different points in your business, you're in different places. So we'll talk about clarity and planning, communication, marketing and nurture, sales and payment, and then content visibility. So this is where I'm gonna invite you to engage. So it doesn't have to be just uh, a monologue, but I'd be curious to know which one of these represents your planning system. So are you in the I've got sticky notes all over my wall and that's how I use my planning? Or maybe you like the file system where you've got all of your files set up and they're all nicely color coded. Or perhaps you are jumping into electronic stage of whatever that looks like. So which one of those represents you the best? Yeah, let's see. I'm just looking over here to catch up on this on what we've got going here. Combination of all three. I love that. Now, one of the things is that, maybe you've gone electronic and you've decided you want to get into one of the more complex tools, or perhaps you're still in the sticky note file folder version of this. And as a result of that, you're thinking, how can I ever possibly get something into one of those complex tools? Well, the reality is you can start with a very simple spreadsheet. And as time evolves, you get to the place where maybe you do need to have a project management system of some sort because you now have team in place and you want to be able to keep track of your team, which then means that having something like ClickUp or uh, uh, Asana or one of the other tools becomes more important. Started even with a simple spreadsheet, whether it's in Excel or Google Sheets, that can be uploaded into one of the other tools, making it simple to start easy and simple in a way that's easy to understand. And then as you need it, you can then move into a more complex tool, something that allows you to expand and grow. So that's just an example of how you can go from maybe the sticky notes that get put into an Excel spreadsheet or file folders that are in an Excel spreadsheet that then you ultimately upload into something else that's more visual. So as we start looking, there's other things that are really important as you look at planning, and that is what's your vision for your business, for your life? And so as you look at the vision board or a prayer board or even just your daily to-do list, the key is starting out with some sort of vision. Where are you going? And some of that can easily be seen by stickies on a wall if it needs to be. The next is to move into the tools, communication tools. And you might be wondering what this picture on the beach has to do with communication tools. Well, pictures on the beach, I have recently, within the last 3 months, started more regularly walking on the beach at sunrise. And so this happens to be a sunrise picture one morning where I was walking and as I was walking down the beach, I suddenly realized this was low tide. And it was in that moment, that's always great God time for me. And as I am on the beach, I'm noticing that, when it's low tide, we've got people spread out really far and wide across the beach. So, where if it's low tide, you've got a very narrow walking area. And in that moment, it was this question for me of how much margin is there in your day for divine appointments, for those interruptions? Or is your day so well scheduled that there's no room for anything else to show up, which might be more important than all of the other things that I have scheduled? And so it was in that that I came to remember the importance of making sure.
Okay, sounds like Erlene got disconnected or frozen. So, ladies, we will just wait for her to jump back on. Apologies. She was having this issue actually during our practice. So there must be something happening in her neck of the woods with internet connectivity.
Speaking of tech, right?
Yeah, right.
I think she's still at the beach.
Yeah, there we go. I love
Yeah,
that.
let's all go to the beach.
I want to go right now.
I want to
am
go.
there.
Well, we all can go to the beach in Roatan
I knew that was
in
coming.
November. Tony's going. Tony Rockus is going to be joining us. So I'm super excited about that. And so if anybody has not yet signed up for Roatan, here's your chance to walk on the beach. And in fact, Tony and I are going to be neighbors in Roatan. We both bought property in Roatan too, and she's going to be right down the hill from me. So, Tony, I can't wait to compare where your property is going to be versus mine.
Oh, how exciting.
That'll be nice to know. Yes, Linda, I was wondering where you were going to be located.
I don't even know how to describe it to you. So I got that and I was like, I don't even know, like, really where it is in relation to you. Although I know you're right there at the beach, and I think we're 2 rows up, but I can't remember exactly. So anyway, when we're in Roatan together in November, we'll go look at your property and mine.
like plan.
I love it.
Right. And I'm back. So nothing like having the internet giving me grief all in the middle of when I'm sharing. So
No worries. We can
we,
just pick up where we were. Thank you,
what's
Early.
that?
we thought you were still at the beach.
Right. Well, we'll come off the beach and talk a little bit more about some of the ways to um, put in margin. Some of it is creating those things like your auto responders that allow for people to know when you're away and to set expectations for them. Putting in calendar buffers, making sure that you've got some time in there, especially it's easy to get back-to-back meetings. And if one of them happens to overflow a little into your time, then suddenly you're delaying someone else or you're rushing the end. So if you put some buffers in your calendar, and then the last is setting up a scheduling process. I at this point use Calendly, but there's also within Go High Level for those who are actually taking advantage of the leadership global opportunity for the Go High Level account, you can set that up in there as well. And then the next area is marketing and nurture, initial touch points, consistent care. All of this is, do you have a nurture sequence in place? Do you have some auto responders? Now, again, it's really easy in the beginning to feel like you have to have everything all in place before you can get started. Yet that can be the one thing that holds you back. So if you've got something simple in place and then over time you then grow and expand, then that's what you need initially. And so no matter where your business is it are you ready for the next step of automation? And so again, one thing that I like to look at is what are the things that are consuming the most of your time? And it might be trying to stay in contact with people or doing some of these things manually. So it might be an area where to grow and scale, it's time for you to
Rona, if you're having similar issues to Erlene, it could be that you guys live in the same neck of the woods. So I apologize. let's see, Gail, Linda or Lean, can we get copies of the PowerPoint to ensure we all get the key points? Yep. And we will take this recording and we'll edit it. We'll edit out all of these blank spaces and we will make sure everybody has access to the recording as well. So you'll get the recording and all of Erlene's comments together with the PowerPoint. Any other questions while we have this break? All right, we'll show Erlene a little grace. Yes, Gail.
If we want to learn more about I have Go High Level through another group and am shifting it. If we want to talk to somebody more about that, of how to shift it over and what's involved, and also getting support to help us navigate that properly, including the kinds of things that Erlene is talking about.
So Erlene obviously is an expert in all this, right? So she works on every CRM. She works on Go High Level, HubSpot, all of them. And she is an expert in all that. Vera also has an agency, Vera Furman, who's in my Brady Bunch. She's right next to you. She has an agency that is a digital marketing agency and works specifically on all kinds of CRMs, but she is a certified Go High Level expert, and she can help you with the transition to a new Go High Level instance. And she can help you with all of the necessary configuration of that Go High Level instance. So I would say Vera Furman has an agency that does this. Erlene has a consultancy that she offers if you already have Go High Level and you already have an instance of it and you've been playing with it and you kind of know a little bit about what it's about, but you'd like to make it more efficient and effective. Erlene is great at that. She can jump in, she can create automations for social media, for literally you could be doing automated text messaging, automated social media, automated email marketing, automated lead generation funnels. There's all kinds of opportunities here. You can create landing pages, lead funnels, you can create communities, everything within Go High Level, but it's not intuitive. Like, I don't feel it's terribly intuitive. I will tell you, I have HubSpot and Go High Level. I have both. HubSpot I can do with no worries. Like, I've got HubSpot nailed, partly because it's practically dummy proof. They don't let you do anything on HubSpot that doesn't make sense. They're like, did you really mean to say this? Did you really mean to do this? Are you sure this is the step you want to take? So HubSpot really makes it incredibly easy to follow particular steps to create lead funnels and automations and all kinds of things. Go High Level is much more sophisticated and it's much more complicated. So you really do need someone like an Erlene or a Vera to walk you through how to create all those efficiencies and how to create all of those automations. All right, Erlene's back, so we are back.
Nothing like having my internet be so incredibly flaky at this point. So hopefully it will let me continue out the rest without further interruption. And so let's see, did we finish the tools and marketing nurture?
Let's just do that.
Linda,
I think you began to speak about this, but you may want to just recap it real quick.
Sure. So again, marketing and nurture, a lot of this, you can get lost in making sure you get automations all set up initially and worrying about, do you have a very sophisticated automation? Because Go High Level is a great example of a tool that allows you to do a ton of stuff. And you can get so overwhelmed with that you don't get the very simple, I'm going to send, when they connect with me, I'm going to send an email to say, hey, I'm glad you're here. And then some level of nurture sequence. But it doesn't have to be that you built out 20 days of all of the perfect emails. It can be that you start out with a very simple process, and then over time you look at what's taking the most of your time, and then you start looking for more ways to automate that. The next is making sure you've got some sort of simple way for people to purchase from you. And so it can be, just a payment system, it can be integrated, it can be any number of ways. But the key is not to get so tied up with that you're not able to move forward with your business as well. Just a way to be able to take payments is critical. And then content and visibility. And this is the one area, and Linda for members does a great job in this of even promoting a lot of visibility and getting people out there known and seen. But are you out there or are you hiding quietly in the background? So are you shouting from the mountaintops or using the speakers? Yeah, are you on hitting stages and speaking, or where are you? One of the ways to be able to create your content is very simply create things where you've created a branded template within Canva, and then you can schedule those. Now, there are a lot of tools out there, again, that allow you to get everything all scheduled perfectly and magically. And do you have the perfect tool? And I will tell you, even as someone who knows technology, I have been drawn into I've got to get the latest and greatest best tool, when even Facebook's got a fairly easy to use scheduling system that you can take advantage of that. And so the real key is creating that plan. And that goes a little bit back to the very beginning where we were talking about beginning with the end in mind and looking at what are the ways of creating your plan for showing up, whatever that looks like. Now, this is a client example of a client I had where when I first met with her, she was in the midst of a whole bunch of 20-day, 30-day, 14-day trials of all of this software because she was wanting to get the perfect software that she wouldn't need for 6 months to a year, but she wasn't doing what she most importantly needed to be doing then, and that was making money. She had a workshop, a class already created. She had all of the materials she needed. She had a Facebook account that she could promote her master class through that Facebook account. She had a way to collect money, and she had a paid Zoom account. So she really had everything she needed. And she really did need to be making money at that point. But she was so worried about making sure she had the right solution for the long term that she wasn't doing what was most important for that moment. So we went and got rid of all of the excess stuff that she didn't need, got her focused on what she did need, and she was able to move forward and at that point start making money. And then we had the roadmap that got her to where she needed to go longer term. So the real key is, what do you need now? And then create the roadmap that goes from here to there. And so let's see. So at this point, Linda, I'm going to turn it back over to just an opportunity for anyone to ask questions that they might have as a result of what we've talked about. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen for now.
Very good. All right. I'm going to stop the recording.